Okay, so today we'll talk about this loops. Loops can be used to tell the program to execute the statement repeatedly. So let's take an example that you want to display the string programming is fun 100 times. You want to display this uh, string 100 times on the console. So one way to do is to type the statement 100 times. So you could type the statement 100 times in your program. Well, that is not the best way of doing it. Question is, can you do it better than that? Can you type the statement 100 times without actually using this way of doing it? Yes, we can do it. We can use while loop. Okay. So what while loop does is it repeats it repeats itself until unless the condition is false. So this is the condition, the loop condition, and these things are the loop statements. So what happens is you check if the condition is true, and the condition is true, then you perform the statements. Okay, then at the end of the loop statement you go back and check the condition for the loop again, and if it is true, then you again execute the loop statements. You do this process again and again until and unless this condition becomes false, and once that is false, then you just exit the loop. Okay. So the variable, what here is we have the define a variable count which is set to 0. Okay, the count is set to 0. So we go to the next line, which is while loop, and we check the condition. Is this condition true or false? What do you think? Is this true or false? Yes, this is true. Why? Because count is 0 and 0 is less than 100. So this is true. So what we do is we perform this action, these two actions. What is the first action? The first action is to print programming is fun. So we do print programming is fun. And then we perform the next action. The next action is the count was 0. So we add 1 into the count and the count comes 1 now. Okay. So next time we go back to the while loop, now the count is 1 now. Okay. So is this true or false? Is this condition true or false? It's again true. So we again come again here. We print program is fun. We perform the next action. The next action is now the count is 1. So we add 1 into 1 and we get the count is 2 now. So we go back and check the while condition now. Now the count is 2. It is again true. So we go back and do this thing and think until unless the count becomes, let's say the count is now 99 and the new value is 100. So we get 100 here. Now what will happen? Is it true or false? Now this is false. Therefore, we don't perform these actions and we exit the loop. Okay. Is this clear? Yes, why not? We can even start from count equals to 10. So 10 is less than 100. Okay, so we perform this action. Now next time this is 10 and this becomes 11. So we go back here. Is 11 less than 100? Yes. We again print the command. My question is, if count is 10, how many times will I perform this action? If count is 10, not 90. I think 89. 89. Yes, Abdul Majid. 89. Yes. You know why? Because okay, let's make it simple example. So let's say this is 100, this is 10, and if count is 0, let's see how many times do we repeat it. Count is 0, less than 0, we do it once. Count becomes 1. 1 is less than 0, we do it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And when count comes 10, this is false. So on 10 it becomes false. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we perform the action 10 times. But if it's 1, so we start from 1 then. So we perform it 9 times. Okay. So this is again the program. This statement is called loop continuation condition, and this thing is called the loop body. So we have this is the syntax, and look at this here. Okay, we have these 2 dots. Okay, so the syntax is that we have the loop continuation condition, and then we have the statement, and then we have additional statements. Like this statement is controlling the loop. Why? Because look at this. So what happens in the while loop is we start the while loop from here, and we go here and check the continuation condition. If the condition is true, then we perform the statements, and then we go back and check the while loop condition again. Okay, and if the condition is false, then we We simply go to the end of while loop. Is it clear? Any question in this? And as an example, let's take this example. So we set the count to 0, and then we come down and check if the count is less than 100. If it's true, yes, it is true, then we perform these two conditions. These two statements. And after performing these two statements, after executing these two statements, we go back again and check the condition. And when do we leave we leave when the condition becomes false, and then we leave the while loop altogether. Okay, so let me know if there's any question in this. Is there any question, guys? The while loop. Okay, so now let's do one more example. So let's try to see what this code is doing. Okay, we need to do this. So we start with initializing the value of sum to be 0 and the value of I to be 1. Now we have while loop here. Is this condition true or false at the start? It is true. Why? Because I is 1. So what happens now? Do we enter the while loop or not? No, we enter the while loop. We enter the while loop. Why? Because this is true. What happens now? What is the value of I? What's the value of I at the moment? It is 1. And what is the value of sum at the moment? 0. So this is going to be what? Yes. And what is the value of I at the moment? It's 1. Yes. So this becomes what? 2. Okay. So now I am here. I have executed this statement. What will happen after that? Will I exit the loop or will I go and check the loop again? Yes. My question. Okay. Yes, mashallah. Now my question is, when do we exit the loop? No, brother, no, we don't get out of the loop. When do we exit the loop? When do we go out of the loop? So when do we leave the loop? Yes, we leave the loop unless this statement is false. Okay, yes, when it's false. No, don't say when it's false. Say when the condition is wrong. That's right. When the while condition is wrong or false. The right word is false. So then the right word is false, not the wrong. Anyway, so we go back up here. Now, what is the value of I at the moment? What is the value of I at the moment? No, I is 2. Yes. Is this true or false? True. So what happens? Do we enter the while loop or do we exit the while loop? Do we enter the while loop or do we exit the while loop? Yes, we enter. So what is the value of sum? The sum was 1. What is I? I is 2. So what will this be now? The sum is now 3. Sum is now 3. And what will happen here now? What is the value of I? I is 2. We have add 1. So the I becomes 3. Is it clear? So now we are here. What do we do after that? Where do we go? Do we go out or do we go up again? Yes, we go and check the loop again. Now the I becomes I was 3. Okay, so we get 3 here. This is true. So we enter inside. This is 3. The sum was 3. It becomes 6. Okay, so let me write this thing on the Python now and see what happens. So we have sum equals to 0, I equals to 1, and then we say y. I'm gonna reduce it. Okay, I'm gonna write y less than 3. Okay, and then we put this double dots, and then we say sum equals to sum plus I, and then we say I equals to I plus 1, and then we say print sum is sum. Let's execute the statement and see what happens. Sorry, execute this program. Look at this. The sum is 3. The sum is 3. Now I'm gonna tell you how is this true. So let's redo this program and redo this program with what do we have here? We have here 3. So let's put 3 here. Actually, let's put 4 here. Actually, okay, 3 here. No, let's put 4 here, and let's put 4 here. Sum is 6. Okay. So let's see now. I is 1. 1 is less than 4. So we go inside. The sum is 0. I is 1. So the sum becomes, I'm going to write here, okay? So the sum becomes what? 1. And the I becomes what? It becomes 2, okay? Now we go back here. Now the I is 2. This is again true. This is again true. So we go inside the while loop. The sum was 1. The I is 2. It becomes 3. So we have 3 here. And that was 2. And this also becomes 3. Okay, then we go up again. Now we have 3 here. This is again true. So we have 3 here. The sum was 3. It becomes 6. Okay? Now, what was I? The I was 3. It becomes 4. So when we go up again, now we have 4 here. Now is this true or false? This is true or false? It's false. So what do we do now? So what do we do now? What do we do now? What do we do now? Do we go and execute the statement or do we exit the loop? So we exit the loop. Be careful, Badr and Abdul Majid. Don't say end and exit. Say exit the loop. Say exit the loop. That's the right word. Okay. Yes. So what do we do when we exit the loop? This is the loop. Okay. So when you exit the loop, we print it, and the print is 6. Yes. So we print 6, and that's what we see here. Okay. So the sum is 6. So any question in this? Is there any question? Now tell me what will happen in this code now. By the way, what is the difference between the difference is I have moved this thing. Okay, but tell me what is this a part of a while loop? Is this a part of while loop? No. Yes. No. Why? Because it needs to be indented inside, and this is a part of while loop. Yes. So what will happen in this code? Let's see. What is I is 1. So we put I here 1. Now what is sum? The sum is 0. The sum becomes 1. Okay? Yes, mashallah. Okay, let me tell you. The sum is 1. So we are here now. So we go back and check the condition again. What is the value of I? It's still 1. It will always be 1. It will always be 1. So we will never exit the code. We will never exit the loop. You all understand? Okay, do you want me to try and see what happens when I do that? Okay, let's see. So I'm going to make this thing inside here, and let's see now. Now let's see. Now look at this. It's very important. Look at this. We don't get the prompt. Where is the prompt? The program is not finished yet. Why? Look at this. When the program finishes, when the program terminates, be careful here. Look at this. This is what you get. Okay? It shows the program is terminated, and I am ready to accept the new commands. We call this thing prompt. 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 When you get the prompt, it means the program has finished and it is asking for something new now. Okay? But if I run this now, there's no prompt. Why? Where is the prompt now? The thing is, the program is running and running and running. Okay? And if you want to see, let me show you something very interesting. Let's see what happens. Look at this. The program is continuously running. It's not stopping. It will never stop until the day of judgment. Well, no, it will stop before the day of judgment. But yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, there's no stopping because this is always true. This condition is always true. You are stuck in the loop. So what do we say? We say you are stuck in a loop. Look at this. It's not finished. It's not finished yet. It will never finish until unless your computer runs out of the memory. So how do we stop it now? So how do we stop it? Well, there are multiple ways. The best way is to press Control C. Look at this, keyboard interrupt. The best way to solve is to press Control plus C. Okay. So guys, what do you think? So make sure that the loop condition eventually becomes false. So the loop will terminate. Okay. And sometimes people execute the loop one time more or one time less. Like if you start from 0 and if you put an equality here, how many times will you run this program? Okay, tell me how many times will we print it? How many times? Yes, because we have an equality here. So we start from 0 and we stop when 100 is 100. So we have 101 times. No, Abdullah, it's 101 times. No, Asim, no, Saeed, it's 101 times. Because we start from 0 and look at it, now we have an equality here. So we stop when it's 100. Initially, we did not have this equality here. We had this thing and we stopped from 0 to 99 and that is 100 times. And this is 100 times. Okay. So two things to be careful. One thing is that you need to make sure that your loop terminates. Number two, you need to make sure that you do the right counting. Okay. Any question in this? Any question? So is it difficult or is it easy? Is it difficult or is it easy? Yeah, I mean, you need to practice it. Okay. Normal, yes. Perfect. Okay. So let's move on. So now let's do some coding. Okay. So we need to write a program that asks the user to enter an answer of equation of subtraction. So let's say the program will ask user to enter the answer for this. Okay. And if the user enters 14, you need to use a loop. And if the answer is wrong, then you will give another chance for user to enter. And if the user again enters the wrong answer, you will again give him a chance to enter the right answer until and unless the user enters the right answer and then you exit. Okay. So you need to ask the question of subtracting two numbers, and until and unless the user answers right, you do not exit the program. You ask him again and again and again. Do you all understand the question? Do you understand the question? No. Okay, let me repeat. So you need to write a program which asks user for uh, to answer a question like this, maybe that what is the answer for this 100 minus 20, and if the user enters 81, which is a wrong answer, then you give another chance to the user to enter the answer again. And if he enters 90, which is again wrong, the program should not exit but give another chance. And if he says 100, which is again wrong, so you give him again another chance. And if he says 80, which is right, then you stop and exit the program. Okay, do you understand now? Okay, so this is the code. This is the code. So we have two numbers. We are going to generate two integers between 0 and 9. Okay. Is everybody happy with this? Do you know what is that? Guys, do you know what? We already have done this thing in the past. Okay. So this is a number one. This is number two. These two are the two random integers. Yeah, random integers. Okay. We have an integer. Now what do we do? If the number one, we swap the number with number two. Okay. So we want to make sure that number one is big. So if number one is small, then number two, then we swap the number one with number two and number two with number one. Okay. This makes sure that number one is bigger than number two. Okay. This step. Okay. Clear? So and then we ask the user to enter the answer. So look at this. What is number one minus number two? So we are asking the question. Tell us your answer. Okay. Now look at this. Until and unless number one minus number two is not equal to answer. Like let's say number one is 10, number two is 2, and the user enters 8. The user enters 8. So 10 minus 2 is what? It is 8. So this thing is 8. So is 8 not equal to 8? Is this true or false now? Is this true or false? No, this is false. Is 8 not equal to 8? No, 8 equals to 8. This is false. So we will never enter here and we'll exit and you got the right answer. Yes. Why? Because 10 minus 2 is actually 8. Okay, let me do it on the computer, okay, and see. So we have to import random, then we have num1, which is random.rand int 0 to 9. And then we have num2, which is random.rand int 0 to 9. And then we check if the number one is not greater than number two. If that's the case, then we replace num1, num2 by num2 and num1. Okay, and then we ask the user eval input enter what is str num1 minus str num2. Okay, let's see. Oh, there's a problem here. Problem, guys. Okay, we have one more bracket to complete. Okay, there is a problem here. Input expected at most one argument got 5. Okay. What is the problem here? Okay, so we have to use concatenation because this is strings. Yes. Okay, let's see. Look at this. So look at this. What is 4 minus 3? It says 1. Okay. But if I say it wrong, say 5, this is where it should me. If I enter a wrong answer, this should keep on asking me and not exit the program. What I do is I'm going to put a while condition here. While num1 minus num2 is not equals to answer, you just keep on asking me the question again and again. Okay? And at the end, right. Let's see now. So if I enter 6, you are right. Okay. If I enter 9, I'm again wrong. Look at this. I'm wrong until unless I enter 0. So do you understand the question here? We'll come to the programming part. So let's run the program again. So what's the answer? Answer is 2, but let's enter 3. Oh my goodness. The answer is 6, but let's enter 8. 7, 9, 1, 2, 3. Until and unless I enter 6, it will not exit the program. Okay, so 6, 5, 4. Now look at this. When I say 2, the answer is right, so you exit the program. Okay. So what's the way of doing it? The way of doing it is this. So let's come back to the code and try to understand it from here. Now look at this. Look at this condition. Look at this condition here. So let's say the number 1 is 10 and number 2 is, let's say, 3. So this is 10 and this is 3. And let's say your answer is 5 and your answer is 5. So what is 10 minus 3? It is 7. So what is here? We have 7 not equals to 5. Is this true or false? No, guys. Is this is how do we is 7 not for this equal to 5? Is this statement true or false? This is true actually, 7 is not 5. Yes, this is true. So if it is true, what do? We go inside the loop or do we exit the loop? Do we enter the loop or do we exit the loop? Yes, we enter the loop. And what do we have inside? It is asking us the answer again. And let's say this time we enter 7. And when we input 7, the answer is 7 now. The answer is 7 now. So now what do we have? We have 7 not equals to 7. Is this true or false? 7 not equal to 7. Is this true or false? This is false. So what do we happen? Do we enter or do we exit the loop? If this is false, we exit the loop and we print this thing. Now see, when do we exit? We only exit if our answer is correct. When our answer was 5, we did not exit. When our answer was correct, only then we exit. Okay? So any question in this? Do you have any question? Okay, so we already have done this thing. We say that loop is controlled by a sentinel values. Okay, so we already have done this part. Sentinel values. So look at this. Here we are controlling the loop using sentinel values. Anyways, look at this code here. This code? When will this loop exit? Okay, read this code and try to understand this code and tell me what this code is doing. Okay, tell me one thing. If I enter 0 here, if our data is 0, what will happen to this part? Yeah, because if data is 0, 0 not equal to 0. This is false. So what will happen? We'll exit. Okay. Okay. By the way, what is this command? Sum plus equals to data. What is this? Yes. No. Abdul Majid is right, and Nihar, you're not right. Okay. It means sum equals to sum plus data. Okay. So let's see what this program is doing. So let's say whatever the user enters is enter into data. Let's say the user enters 1. So is this condition true or false? 1 not equal to 0. Is it true or false? Yeah, it's true. So we enter. So what do? We say sum equals to sum plus data. Data is 1 and the sum is 0. The sum becomes what? Sum becomes 1. So sum becomes 1. And then what? We again ask for data, another value to input. Now, if the user enters 2, now data is 2, we go back up here. Is this true or false? It's again true. So what will happen? The data is 2 now. The data is 2 now. The sum was 1 and new sum is 3 now. Now the sum is 3. So we go back down here and we ask for new input. Now, if the user inputs 5, we go back up and check, is 5 not equal to 0? Is it true or false? Again true. Now data is 5, the sum was 3, it becomes 8. So when do we exit the loop, by the way? So how do we exit the loop? Again, it asks for the input, and if I enter the 0 here, data, yes, my data is 0. If I enter 0 here, we go 0 not equals to 0. This is false. So we exit and we print the sum is 8. So look at this. The program is actually adding all the input values. 5 plus 2 plus 1 is 8. So whatever the user enters, it adds it. Okay, any question in this? Okay, so let's try to answer this question and then we can leave. Okay, so tell me about the first this answer. How many times are the following loop bodies repeated and the printouts? So let's start with this one. How many times will we repeat this? I think you should do it in your we'll do it next week, inshallah, I think, because time is short. So any question, guys? We'll do it next week, inshallah. I will give you one assignment about the while loop. Okay, I will share the assignment and then you have to submit it. That will be assignment number 5. Assignment number 5 will be on the while loop. Okay. Okay, guys. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum.